So, Kellina, let's start with your book. I think that's a great place to start. What was the core message that you wanted readers to get from your book?
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with everybody, honestly, just to see and just talk about everything. And the whole purpose of my book is really to teach people what it's like to be deaf daily basis. The reason for that is because there's a lot of lack of education about those who are deaf. And there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people get confused. And a lot of people get confused between the deaf person versus a hard of hearing person. And I do want people to know that, the deaf community is one big whole community, not just divided, right? And I want people to know that no matter what your disability are, you should not allow it to define who you are. And it's super important that we do have role models because a lot of us noticed that there's a lot of lack of role models in the disability community, and it's very low numbers, right? It's not a high number. And if you look at the movie stars or even a show, do you see a lot of disability person? No. And I do want to teach the hand world that there needs to be some work that needs to be done. And it's very important that we all, especially the disability community and also the deaf community, to learn how to get ourselves out there, even though it's scary because we are so used to the bullying that we have when we're growing up. So I did want people to know that embrace your disability in order for yourself to be success. You can have success no matter what your disability are. And I feel like a lot of us are just scared. And I just wanted to let the next generation to know that if I can do it, you can do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what disability you have, it doesn't matter what your race are, your culture, it doesn't matter. If I can do it, you can do it too.
I love that. I love that. I think a lot about when you said that, having these role models where you could see yourself in other people. And you could say, if it's possible, and they're like me, then it's possible for me. And how important having that community of people where you feel tapped in, you feel a part of. It's so important for feeling capable and feeling like you can do something beyond what you're necessarily just comfortable with, or what you even see that could be possible. So, with that said, you proudly identify as Deaf Queen Boss, right?
Yeah.
So unpack that for us. What does that mean for you, and how does that identity fuel your empowerment? And then also, what does you being empowered explain to me a little bit more, because you did touch on it, but explain to me more. What does that look like for other people that are around you?
Yeah, so it's very funny. I came up with the name Deaf Queen Boss because a lot of people around me literally called me the boss woman, the queen woman. For me, honestly, the people I surround myself with are they call me Deaf Queen or they call me the Queen Boss and I was just confused and I said, why do everybody keep calling me this name? And they loved it because I don't allow someone to define who I am. And I feel like I have that strong personality where I don't let anybody just come into my life and just disrespect me because I have a disability. I am a very not a bold person, I'm a very nice person. But when someone tries to take not advantage of you, but someone who try to think you cannot do it, I just strictly shut them down and I said, listen, just because I'm hard of hearing doesn't mean I can't do it. It's gonna take me time to get there, but doesn't mean I can't get there. And everybody's time is very different. And that's why I call myself the Deaf Queen Boss. Because I know what I'm capable of. And I feel like once I have that self-respect in myself, it goes far for me. And I have this huge self-respect for myself. And that's why a lot of people call me like, oh my gosh, she's a queen. She knows what she wants. She doesn't, and then I was like, oh, okay, I guess I am. So I never really thought I would call myself the Deaf Queen Boss. And, and it all goes down to my family. My family are a lion. They the one that actually taught me how to be strong and be my own 2 feet without them. Because, you know, having a disability, sometimes we do need to rely on someone sometimes, because sometimes we cannot always get everything done. And, you know, and for my family, they taught me, yes, you're going to need help, but it doesn't mean you can't have your self-respect within yourself to get yourself far. And so that is something my family always taught me, where I always have self-respect, no matter what the outcome is, no matter how hard life is. And I feel like for me, I've been through so many things, like bullying. I even had teachers doubting me. They didn't even help me to get to college. I had to do it by myself. And it was super hard. And that's why I get that label, you know, like, whoa, if she can do it, I can do it. And I did exactly. And I feel like I have that inspiring, you know, the spirit that a lot of people are like, I needed you. I needed you. And I was like, I'm here. I'm always here. So yeah, that's where I get the Deaf Queen boss from.
That's, there's so much there. One, it makes me realize how important like great family is, like having that core group of people, whether it's your family, or it's people that you call your family. But having that core people around you that really just affirm and love and embrace who you are, regardless of anything, and how important that is for our growth. And I think also by seeing you do this and coming out there, I kind of feel like sometimes, even if you're not in someone's life physically and you don't have that relationship, you still can be that. When they see you, they go, this is the kind of person I know that I would need in my corner. Like, this is the kind of person that I'd want to be like. So I think it's always so important to have that. And then also just like saying, like taking back, like setting those boundaries and taking it back and saying, I do have that power, regardless of what other people may perceive of me, or they may try to, you know, in their mind, you know, try to define the things that I could do. I already know. The process does take longer sometimes in certain aspects for all of us in different ways. And I appreciate you saying that. And sometimes I think it's our roots growing deeper as then we grow up, potentially. I don't know, maybe.
It does. It does. It's always up and down. It's a roller coaster, right? Life is, in general, it's a roller coaster. Whoever told you life is a straight line is lying.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes we go back to the same problems, and then we have to like learn it again and again until we actually make that change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, so I work as an interpreter, and you have called interpreters in your poetry book, and note takers gifts.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not something that I don't think the interpreting field sees a lot. It's not something that we have these conversations around. So I would love for you to dive deeper on that, on what makes an interpreter more than just a professional, but an ally in your life.
Yeah, that's my favorite question, honestly, when someone asks me what it's like to have an interpreter or a note taker. A lot of times there's a lot of misconceptions. I know a lot of people think interpreter are just there for free, doing, you know, and I tell people no, like they're there to be an ally for us. And having someone who is hearing and who is someone who is an ASL interpreter, I feel so fascinated by them because, one, I didn't learn ASL when I was growing up because of this lack of, like, once again, education and support system that I had when I was younger. The reason for that is because I went to a public school. 90% of us go to public school. We don't have access to ASL interpreter. And once we get that, it just gives us the heart or the hope when we see someone who actually wants to help us. And when I see one, I was like, oh my God, you're here to help me. Like, it's just that good and that relief. You know, for me, I have such a huge relief when I have an interpreter, note taker for me in college and university. It was a huge relief for me because I was so stressed out because I thought I would miss the most important piece of lecture, or even when I'm walking around, you know, especially there's so many distractions in classroom. It's so annoying and I hate it. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I miss this thing? Or what if like, there's so much information that comes to our ear, daily basic, to the point where we're tired. When we go home, we just want to just shut off our hearing aid and just go to bed. right? Because our eye is so tired of the lip reading. So having the interpreter or note taker there for us gives us so much less relief. And that's why I call the interpreter, note taker a gift. Because if I'm waiting for my interpreter or I'm a note taker, I'm not trying to be emotional, I would not pass university or post secondary because it was so much work. And my note, I'm a student, I had 4 classes in one day. You know how tired I was? I was like, oh my God, I'm tired. My eyes were tired. There's some days where I had to skip class because my body was exhausted.
Wow.
I remember that one time I had a note taker and she messaged me like, "Oh, you're not in class," and I said, "No, I'm really tired from the previous lecture because it was 2 hours or 3 hours, and it was a lot." And she's like, "It's okay, don't worry about it. Like, I'm doing my job. I'm here. I just wanted to check up with you." And right there, like, interpreter got your back no matter what. And having that interpreter and note taker with you, it's just like everybody needs a buddy. Everybody needs somebody they can rely on. So interpreter and note taker is literally our life, you know? And try not to be emotional again, but I love all of you guys so much.
I think there's a lot here. And thank you for sharing, first of all. Like I think interpreting is definitely it's a relationship, right? We enter the lives of people and we're interpreting, whether it's a school where we're constantly with them, or we're just entering for a second and just doing some video remote interpreting. It's a relationship that we establish where there's trust and where it means something to each of us. We each gain something, but thank you for sharing, because your success is in that situation in school is why interpreters do what they do, right? They interpret in a school because they want that student to have communication access, not to be so tired. So that's awesome. And it also makes me think that we all need help, right? Like
exactly.
There's a different, that recognition of like, acceptance and, okay, these are areas where I can bring that into my life. Man, it's powerful. There's a lot there. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Yeah. So you now are working as a life coach.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So where do I sign up? And so that's my first question.
So you'll see 3 different packages. So I'm offering 3 different services. So one for high school and post-secondary students. And the second package is for those who had a coach before but didn't achieve their goals how they reach. And the third one is for those who are more advanced. So I'll also be helping you through your life. I will be helping you with your financial goals. Like for example, I know people don't understand financial. So I'll be helping them with the financial goals, and I'm more deeper into like resume, helping them write the resume, helping them get in a job. And I feel like we need a buddy, someone that we can hold on to, like, okay, well, I need help with this. And not a lot of us have that somebody that we can go to, especially for myself, who when I was growing up, I didn't have that role model. So my goal with my company is really let people know that there are someone out there that looks like you that can actually help you succeed in your life.
I appreciate this conversation very much. And I hope that everybody else who's watching does too. And if you have any questions, we might be able to have a part 2 or part 3 where we could start just learning a little bit more about identity and the intersections between how we feel and then stepping out in the world of how we interact with the world as well and carrying that with us. And then as well as how interpreters then show up and interpret and respect those spaces as well. So thank you so much though, and thanks to the interpreters today. Do you want to leave any final thoughts or anything that you think would be really important to leave everyone with before we close out?
Yeah, definitely. I would say my first thing, well, I have so many things to say, but I'm going to break it down. And one thing I do want to say is always remember you only have one life to live. Live your life to the fullest because tomorrow is not a promise. If you want to do something so bad, go do it without even thinking. Because once again, tomorrow is not a promise. I realized that one day I got up and I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to launch my own business. I'm gonna write a book. I didn't care about what other people think because at the end of the day, I'm living for my own life. You have your own life and you have one life. Use it, have fun. Who cares about what other people have to say about you and what you're doing? Because at the end of the day, you have your own life to live. And that's the last thing I will leave off.